call the meeting to order and begin with the flag salute. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Announcements. Buenas tardes. Si alguna persona necesita traducción en español, por favor que vean a la señorita Martínez atrás para que les pueda dar un audífonos y bienvenidos. Adoption of the regular agenda. Do we have a motion to adopt the regular agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by Luis, second by Gomez. Are there any comments or discussion from the board? No? Roll call, Bruno?
Aye.
Constanza?
Aye.
Gomez?
Aye.
Luis?
Aye.
And myself, motion passes 5-0. Presentations. Item 4.1, Fred L. Williams Elementary School, Ms. Granado.
Don't bang on. Don't blow.
Hello, Tess. Good evening, school board. Good evening, cabinet, and good evening, colleagues. This evening, we wanted to give you a little update on Williams and wanted to take you through our yearbook this evening. All right, so I don't know if you recall last spring's presentation, but we were showing you some sad numbers and we said the only way is up, right? And so I do think we have some positive news for you all this evening. This evening, I will be presenting as a very proud principal of Fred L. Williams Elementary School, and my partner, community school coordinator, Graciela Bautista, is going to go present with me this evening. Alrighty, so right away, you can see I'm sporting my gear. So the kids say that we go to Hogwarts now because, you know, they said that what's our mascot? Wildcat, hello. So this is this year's design, and it goes with our motto, which goes with our community schools vision and focus on students. Basically, our shield there has our Wildcats becoming college. That's the cap and the diploma career. Those are all the tools there and life ready. And hopefully they have more of a global point of view when they leave our school and leave our school district. So we're very excited about the new design. As soon as you walk into the Williams School cafeteria, you're met with this giant banner that takes up all the front of the cafeteria, just reminding our kiddos, affirmations to get us through the day. So if you're in there eating breakfast, you're there for an assembly, you're there for awards, always remembering that our Wildcats are to be respectful, kind, and responsible as well. This is one of my favorite pictures here below. It was a gift, backpack gift giveaway from our partners. Kindness is Free. Just makes me smile. From the littlest littles to the biggest bigs. We can all make a difference at Williams. So, going with the yearbook theme, I wanted to introduce you to the best student at Williams Elementary School. This picture was a lot of fun. Did you see the dots that I used to get the photo bomber out of the way? So we were celebrating as Social Worker of the Year at a beautiful ranch, not this weekend, but the weekend before, celebrating Social Worker Kenya Dominguez. And so it was nice to be outside of the school and spending some time together celebrating a colleague. Williams by the numbers. We're at 542 right now. We do have a high Latino population. Our Filipino population is the next biggest student group. They hover between 9 and 11%. We're about half English learners at this time, very high socioeconomically disadvantaged community, almost 90% there. We are currently sitting at 11% special education qualified students, and we have a roster of 25 classroom teachers. Next school year, we will be working with 22 classroom teachers. I'm going to go ahead and step aside so that Graciela can give you a little information about Williams School being one of 4 in our district who was awarded the California Community Schools Partnership Program grant.
Hello, and thank you, Graciela Bautista, Community School Coordinator. And our community schools in our district, our goal is to focus on the whole child and wraparound service to improve student learning. And at Williams, we have taken an approach with our steering committee. Thank you for our committee that have been involved to make sure that everything we're doing this year is targeted and intentional, and to make sure that what we are doing is having an impact not only in our community but on our student learning. And if our students feel safe and connected to school and to their community, they want to attend school. And then with that, the more they're in school, the bigger increase we'll see in student learning. As we share our data in a few more slides, I feel like we can show that we are going towards the right direction and things that we are doing. And thank you, board, for your support, because we were able to secure our food share 3-year MOU, and that's just one small portion of what we're doing to support our families. And our Healthy Start, our amazing counselor, and our staff are all part of this team for community schools to make sure that all of our students and our families are supported during this time and going forward.
I would like to add that we have also been very intentional in the way that we have aligned our 4 pillars with community schools, with the district's LCAP goals, and with our school plan student achievement SIPSA goals, just so that everything seems really intentional and that we find alignment as we overlap those 3 perspectives.
And as Ms. Granado shared, our initiative is getting all Wildcats College Career and Life ready. And this year, we worked with Oxnard College, so not only did we have the Young Contours program where our Williams scholars visited Oxnard College so they can see what lies ahead for really getting prepared for college, career, and life. We also had Oxnard College come speak to our families about what our families can do as early as elementary school to help support their students to be ready for college and career. We also were very intentional in bringing our culturally relevant activities and partnerships into our school. We had Carmen Rubin for Black History Month. We've started our Filipino Asian Parent Council and Multicultural Student Club this year. We have 100% of our teacher staff be CPI de-escalation trained, verbal de-escalation training. We also had our Real Guppies outdoor program join us throughout the school year, and we also had parent fishing days. And unfortunately, one was canceled due to nature beyond our control while Miami Beach was closed. But our last one, we had 67 families, members come out to Miami Pier on a Saturday morning, great, at 4 hours, and they stayed, and they loved it. And that was one of the things, to be intentional, to make sure that when we have parent outreach and engagement, that they are engaging with their students. So when we had to do a smart dose, our families built altars with their students. They built something so that they can work together as a family. We are also supporting extended learning opportunities outside the classroom. Our 5th grade classes, all 4 of our 5th grade classes got to visit Griffith Observatory. So they were able to see outside of the school walls and be able to see our STEM hands-on activities with the Griffith Observatory. And our food share is not only supporting our families, but they also just did an amazing drop-off. So we not only get the food, but we also had non-food items dropped off as well, so our families could pick up home goods, and then they also for the summer, Food Share received a grant for student packs. So we will also be handing out student packs during summer. With the help of our Healthy Start office, we will be working together. So every first Thursday of the month, we will be providing Food Share resources to our families outside of our campus. That will be extended through summer as well. And we extend our knowledge with our community schools newsletter with our families, so they're aware of what's going on. And our families have been an amazing asset to our school. And we also have supported our Community Garden Learning Lab, which has been a sense of pride from all of our members of our staff who are involved. Our parents at our La Capacito actually took a field trip to see how it has blossomed. And our community schools is really working forward for next year to see what other community partners we can bring in and making sure we continue the sustainability of this grant past the time of the actual grant.
Thank you very much. So, last time I was up here, this was not my favorite part. So here we just wanted to cheer on our team because they really have been putting in the effort and the work to set up some new protocols within the grade level teams and raising the expectation for our students. So we're very proud and really cheer them on and are looking forward to what the next year brings. One of the things that they've been asking for a lot is, hey, Renato, we're out of gas by the end of the day. Is there any way that we can have some collaborative time during the school day? And I'm very excited to have been able to collaborate with Dr. Molinat so that we can have some collaboration during the school day where we can go observe each other and observe best practices, where we can gather around data, where we can plan for future small intervention groups. It's really exciting. So let's start a little bit here with our California Healthy Kids Survey. As you may or may not know, this is an anonymous online survey that our fifth graders take. So they really have nothing to lose with what they answer on this survey. So I think this is one of the most honest surveys that our students take every year. And what's really cool about California Healthy Kids, and I really appreciate it, is that it's a spring-to-spring comparison of data. And in spring is when the students are also running out of gas, right? It's the end of the year. And so we really do have an amazing growth story to share here with regard to school climate and connectedness. These are some of our highlights from the 25-26 survey. Just to give you some context, spring 24-25, percent favorable regarding school safety. It was 55% last year. And so that grew to 81% in the 25-26 school year. The fifth graders who answered percents favorable on school connectedness, last year it was 63%. 63%, and we grew to 81% this year. Rural clarity, last year's numbers had us hovering in the high 60s at 68%, so we've grown to 78% in the students' opinion. And high expectations from the adults on campus, we had a 76% last year. And so this year it's grown to 90%. And it is exciting because those fifth grade students are some tough cookies. And they are hard to impress, and they can tell when someone's not being genuine. So this is really exciting data. Areas for growth, meaningful participation, where the students really feel like they have a say in what's going on campus. That is an area that only grew 6%. Last year we were at 40% meaningful participation, and this year we were at 46%. In admin meetings, we've talked about making meaningful participation one of the areas that we focus on for next year. So I'm really excited to work collaborate with our admin partners on that. We also have an anonymous student survey. that students take in the rest of our grades, right? And grades 3, 4, and 5. And this was very exciting because for the panorama survey for this year, we had focused on teacher-student relationships and school climate. And, we grew, again, from spring to spring, 59% last year, 63% this year. Teacher-student relationships, which is not up there. Last year we were at 70%, and that grew 7 points to 77%. So the momentum is going in the right direction. And so again, like I said, next year we're really looking to increase those meaningful participation numbers. Lots of data. So this is a summary of the growth that we have made on state testing, CASP, English Language Arts, and math. And when I met with Dr. Walker during my principal's evaluation, one of the areas that I wanted to grow in personally was in my collaboration with co-admin. So I had an assistant principal before, and then we didn't have assistant principal for a while, and then we had an assistant principal who then became our community school coordinator. And we talked about ways to work with co-admin, and I shared with her that one of the lessons that I learned was leaning into the strengths of my co-admin. And Graciela has a way of looking at data, but presenting it in digestible chunks where I get it. And where I used to be a little scared about data, she's made me less scared about data. And when we present it to families, they get it. And I'm a little scared of AI. I feel like the robots are taking over, and I'll say it to anybody who will listen. AI scares me a little. But no, she uses it in a way that I feel is positive, and it really gets the message home to our families and to Ms. Granado too. So I do want you to see that we have made some gains in English language arts. You'll see change over time there from 22-23, 23-24, 24-25. You'll see that the gains, we made gains in math as well, but the numbers have been, math has been an area where we have struggled a little bit. But we were so excited that we did have a 5.42 gain over the last 3 years. That was exciting. Our data is trickling in already. So numbers are coming in, and we're getting kind of excited. Like, I'm knocking on wood, I don't want to jinx anything. I'll wait until all the data is in, but it's exciting. But still, when you look at the data, when you look at those percentages, are we happy? I'm happy that the growth is in a positive way, but I'm not happy where we're sitting right now. So that really lights a fire under my tail feathers and for our teaching team. On things that we can tweak a little, that we can try new things, that we can collaborate more, and that just in general on campus, we're talking about our data. When I moved up into Williams, it was my data, and it was very guarded and very sacred, and no one wanted to share it with anybody. So I love it when people are talking about our kids, because all of the kids are our kids. Like I said, there's more to come. I tell Graciela to stop looking at the data trickling in because she's going to drive herself crazy. But she's like, I'm feeling very hopeful. I feel like this is the year that we're going to show a big shift. And I go back to Marisol sharing with us, Mrs. Guillen, that, it takes some years before the DLI data shows, positive growth. It could be 5 to 7 years. Yes, Marisol? Right? And so in working in new ways with our staff and to really look in a focused way at our data and collaborate around it, I think we're around year 2 or 3, no? We're starting year 3. Yes, so again, more to come. I can't wait till next year. So this is a little review of our CASP data. And I'm gonna share a little bit about AIMSweb, even though it's on its way out. So AIMSweb, we have some data here for you in English Language Arts and in math, and this is growth from beginning of the year to the end of the year. But as you can see, lots of growth, double-digit number growth. But are we okay with 53% and 56%? No, we're not happy with that. So we definitely want to make some changes around ELA and math. And who knows what M-Class will bring next year, right? When we transition to our new assessment platform. So this is also very exciting data for ourselves, but there's room for growth because no one's happy to be sitting in the 50%. Step aside just for a second. Well, Graciela talks to you about M-Class.
As you can see with our M-Class, we are making growth as well. Our teachers in our K-2 are doing amazing things, as we can see that our at and above have been 19 points, but yet our intensive has dropped 16 points. That is with our teachers looking at their data, evaluating their data, using small group interventions, and making sure that our gaps are filled with the students that need, all while making sure that our students who are excelling have an outlet for that as well. So very intentional with the small groups. Our Panorama small group, M-Class also offers small group instruction within the program itself that our teachers have embraced, because based on the data, it also allows teachers to see and group students based on their needs. So everything our teachers are doing is very intentional, and making sure that our targeted small group intervention is showing improvement. And our students, right now we have 621 improvement plans for small group intervention through Panorama. So that means 621 students have some type of Tier 2 intervention. But Ms. Bautista, you don't have 621 students. And that's because our teachers, some students need such intensive intervention that they will go through more than one cycle. It's not a one and done. So our teachers are constantly in a continuous cycle of growth to make sure all of our students have what they need based on the data and what they see in the classroom. So we were excited, not just from our 3 to 5 on our CASP, but also our K2, making sure that they are, everything that they're doing is going to be data-driven with the intent of supporting the whole child. And we can see in our data that what they are doing is working on. And so we were very proud of the hard work of our teachers.
All right. So how do you get voted most dependable? We support you with these wonderful social emotional supports. Kindness is Free has done regular lunchtime pop-up events, which the kids can play, special activities, games, they have chats, they practice their kindness pledge. So we really do appreciate Kindness is Free making that commitment to our students and coming on a regular basis, and also holding fun activities during our family picnics. Upper right hand box, Second Step. We just had an admin meeting about Second Step. We're very big proponents of Second Step in the classrooms. All of our teachers have finished their 20 lessons for the year, which means they're not going to pull a lot of Starbucks cards tomorrow. But because we're all kind of using the same language, especially with that CPI training that we had with our teachers and with our classified staff, we all are more on the same page than we ever have been. Our school counseling push-in program has been very powerful as well, because she also, adds another layer to what was already shared in class with their Second Step curriculum. Mrs. Hernandez she's amazing. She's everywhere at the same time. And then giving students another place where we, as you know, we have the Dan Wellness Center at Williams School, which is very popular. It's very very comfortable. There's lots of things in there for the kids to do. There's a quiet space in there behind a screen that one of our teachers built from scratch for them to have a little privacy but still be safe. This community garden learning lab here, it was just a big old track of dirt. And the kids have grown it into a beautiful space. It doesn't even look like this anymore. It is lined by beautiful tall sunflowers. The citrus trees are growing. It's amazing. And students also use it when they're having some sort of emotional moment. Sometimes an outdoor space is exactly what they need. We also added an outdoor classroom within the community garden learning lab, which teachers have been enjoying, and our VC Farm to School rep, Cassandra Espinoza, has been giving lessons out there as well. How do you get voted most talented? Parent engagement. The needs assessment that we did with families, they were really honest and told us really what they wanted. They want to learn more, teach us stuff so that we can help our students, help us do things with our children, and they give us the times that work for them. So the top picture there was during the Real Guppy outdoor event when they all went fishing. Folks were there since 8 in the morning till 12 noon when it ended. It was free, it was safe, they all learned something, and they had a great time. Our families also on their survey let us know we're struggling. We're really struggling. And so the MOU with Food Share could not come soon enough. So thank you for that. We never have a box left. A delivery from Food Share came in May. We were supposed to start in June. So just quick movement, everyone just pitching in. We were able to deliver 200 boxes of food to everybody on that first week of May. June's first week was planned. So definitely a lot of families were able to benefit from the food boxes. At that point, I think we gave out
235 food boxes and 250 kids meals.
A lot of food went out that day. And guess what? Not a single box was left. On the bottom left, training. They asked for training. Teach us how to work with our kids. So either it's through Cafecito, or we're doing a book tasting in the library, or we're talking about how to support counting collections in the classroom by giving them manipulatives and things to do with the kiddos at home. They said, teach us. So we want to grow our parent academies in the coming year. And then our Filipino Asian Parent Council really came from, again, the Parents' Needs Survey. They want to feel seen and heard and acknowledged at our campus. And this was on my dream board for a really long time. So I do thank my partner here for taking it off the dream board and making it a reality. And boy, are they an involved bunch. They've been teaching games to the kids at family picnics. They're going to be helping me find a recipe that will work with our food service partners, because gosh darn it, that Multicultural Kids Club has already met with me, and they would like a Filipino dish included on our menu. Mm-hmm. So I am working with some of our district partners to make that a reality. The menu's been set since January, but they did offer the option of having some special events. So our Filipino Asian parents are going to help us with the recipe collecting, and hopefully one will fit with the requirements to make it onto a student menu. How do you get voted most likely to succeed? We have to develop student voice. This is also an area that we're going to continue to develop in the coming year. If you were out and about on Saturday at the Oxnard Performing Arts Center, you probably saw our performance of Shrek. And it was literally, we're developing their voice. They had a voice coach. They had an acting coach. They had a dance coach. And it was amazing. My cheeks hurt when I left the play on Saturday night because it was awesome. Upper right-hand corner, thank you to Dr. Pacheco for sharing with us about her student council. We've had a student council for many years. But Dr. Pacheco, when the kiddos presented at the Equity Conference, they talked about polling and teaching kids about voting. And so I thought they were going to use AI to share their results, and boy, was I pleased when they free-handed it. It was freestyling. And so they started with some very light topics. And so what we want to grow it into is that meaningful participation, where they give us more input as to how we run school and the input that they can give to bring about change at our school. And also we want to align the voting. The voting started with 4th and 5th grade first. Then it trickled down to 2nd and 3rd, and they wanted to give a chance to our 1st graders, where we went ahead and put a pause on that for next year. But I'm really excited because in addition to developing our voice, we want them to become good citizens. And so we had Officer Ramirez go visit the last student council meeting so that they can meet with someone from public safety. We have already had conversations with Mayor Luis MacArthur. We've talked to Ventura County Supervisor Vianney Lopez that they would like to come and talk to kids about citizenship and public governance. So get ready, school board, they might be reaching out to you too. But it's really exciting to talk about voting and how important it is to give your input, and this is a way that we're going to do it. Also, our kids have struggled a little bit with the vocabulary on the panorama survey. You know, strongly agree, strongly disagree, somewhat agree, somewhat disagree. I'm neutral on that one. That's been something that's that we have been working on for the last 3 years. So eventually, with the polling, we want to introduce that kind of vocabulary. I strongly agree with this, I strongly disagree with this. And so we hope that that will support our panorama survey results. The Wellness Den, it is still active. We had to close down for a little hand foot mouth thing that came out in the late fall, early winter. But we have reopened the wellness, the Den, the Wellness Center. And then talk about developing student voice. Students wanted their video bulletin crew back. And so there was a call out for video bulletin auditions in late May. I don't think Ms. H was ready for the 100 students that signed up to audition for the video bulletin. She may have bitten off more than she can chew. But we have some very excited students who want to bring the news in a new way to their partners at Williams School. So more to come on our new video bulletin crew coming out. And then different ways that we're getting tail feathers in the chairs. How are we getting students to school? What's the hook? So here are many hooks that we're offering our kiddos at Williams School. The girls' basketball team came to be when they pointed out, you can't have another boys' basketball team because you did that last spring. But, oh, okay, fair enough. So we had a girls' basketball team this year. We had a little trouble finding coaches. So Coach Kenya was very kind to coach the girls team, and she also coached the boys team last year. Multicultural Club, it's a new club on campus, and here I think they were making halo, a Filipino dessert. So they're already cooking and having a lot of ideas of what they would love to see on our HESD menu. Battle of the Books was very competitive and very exciting this year. Spelling Bee, very well attended, and parents really appreciated that we were able to stream it out to their homes and to their jobs so they could participate in a way. Gardening Club, when they started early on, they were gifting their fresh tomatoes, cucumbers, and whatnots. And so here, one of our students was gifting fresh tomatoes from the community garden to Miss Vicki in the office. But I just found out, right, that they can sell their produce back to food services. And they're like, ooh, now I see a fundraiser. Yearbook Club has been very active this year. Lots going on, lots to take pictures of. So that's another way to hook our students. Student Council, like I said, super involved. They co-sponsor all our student campaigns across campus with our student counselor, whether it's Red Ribbon Week, Kindness Month, Mental Health Awareness. They support all of it. And you should have seen all the inspiring posters that they created by hand, no AI here, to inspire their classmates during state testing. And then if anyone caught a glimpse of the spring recital a couple of weekends ago, holy smokes, those wild tappers are something else. And we do appreciate Mrs. Ana Reed Sanchez, who is the leader of this energetic bunch. So, with that, I thank you for your time. Mil gracias for putting up with us for a little while, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Any questions, folks? Is it hot in here or is it just me? I feel like I'm melting. Any questions that I can help answer? All right, well, I do thank you for your time, and thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Item 4.2, recognition of LCAP student representatives. Dr. Walker.
Yes, and we did try to adjust the temperature, but I don't think it was very successful. So, anyway, speaking of voice and student voice, we want to recognize some students who have been an integral part of providing student voice to our LCAP, which is our Local Control Accountability Plan Committee. And a number of these students have served for more than 1 year, and I know some of them are probably going to be going on next year, but I'd like to invite up the school principals who are going to help out by saying a few words to these students. They've just been a real integral part of our team. I've been so impressed with the input that they have provided to the LCAP committee. So we'll go ahead, since I see Dr. Pacheco, we'll go ahead and start with, we have both elementary representatives and junior high representatives. So we have students from Haycox, Larson, and Green. Our Black Sox students aren't here this evening, but we'll start with Dr. Pacheco.
Good evening, board members, executive cabinet, and community members. I would like to introduce you to fifth graders, Steve Mesa and America Corrales, who represented the student body at our Haycox Elementary School at this year's LCAP Educational Partners meeting. Steve Mesa is a kind and curious student who enjoys writing, reading, and science. He especially loved writing his informational piece on wolves. Steve also enjoys spending time with his friends, and his family personality, and his friendly personality helps him get along well with everyone. America Corrales is an exceptional, well-rounded student, highly recognized for her outstanding character, academic dedication, and natural leadership. A dependable role model with excellent study habits, America fiercely prioritizes her education. Beyond her academic success, she is defined by her deep empathy, maturity, and a genuine desire to help her peers and succeed through peaceful collaboration. She is deeply invested in her school community, balancing roles as a lead performer in the live theater production of Toy Story, a mariachi musician, a member of our junior city corps. Furthermore, as an LCAP Educational Partner Student Representative, America actively uses her strong communication skills to advocate for others, recently initiating a support group to provide vital resources for families with special needs. Honest, trustworthy, and resilient, America consistently leads by example and is poised to make a meaningful, lasting impact on her community. I'd like to read what I just said in Spanish for the parents present. Buenas tardes, miembros de la Junta Directiva, integrantes del Gabinete Ejecutivo y miembros de la comunidad. Me gustaría presentarles a Steve Mesa y America Corrales, alumnos de quinto grado que representaron al alumnado de la escuela primaria Art Haycox en las reuniones de socios educativos del LCAP de este año. Steve Mesa es un estudiante amable y curioso, al que le gusta escribir, leer y las ciencias. Disfrutó especialmente redactar su texto informativo sobre los lobos. A Steve también le gusta pasar tiempo con sus amigos y su carácter amable permite llevarse bien con todos en la escuela. América Corrales es una estudiante excepcional y muy reconocida por su gran calidad humana, su dedicación académica y su liderazgo natural. Como modelo a seguir, confiable y con excelentes hábitos de estudio, América otorga una prioridad absoluta en su educación. Más allá de sus logros académicos, destaca por su profunda empatía, su madurez y su deseo genuino de ayudar a sus compañeros a triunfar mediante la colaboración pacífica. Está muy comprometida con su comunidad escolar y diversas facetas. Actuó como protagonista en una representación teatral de Toy Story, toca música de mariachi y es miembro del Junior City Court. Además, en su calidad de representante estudiantil y socia educativa del LCAP, América utiliza activamente sus excelentes dotes de comunicación para defender los intereses de los demás. Recientemente puso en marcha un grupo de apoyo para facilitar recursos esenciales a familias con necesidades especiales. Honesta, digna de confianza y resiliente, América predica siempre con el ejemplo y está destinada a dejar una huella significativa y duradera en su comunidad. Tenemos un detalle pequeño para nuestros alumnos.
And we also have a certificate. So we're going to take a step back. We'd like the students to come up here so they can receive a certificate from our board president. And then at the end, we'll have all the students sign up here. So we have two more groups of students that we want to recognize. So if the students could stay until we finish all of the LCAP recognition, and then we'll take a photo of all of them together at the end. But if you want to sit down while we recognize the other ones, that's fine too. So Ms. Jimenez.
Good evening to everybody. Buenas tardes a todos. I am really proud today to have two of our students here, our Mia, come on up, it's Mia, and Ramiro. Our students, Mia and Ramiro, are those road runners on campus. Since a very young age, they were always present. You can hear them, you can see them. They are academically on spot, from math Olympiads to reading medals. They have it all. It's the whole package. On top of everything else, we've been talking about all these VAPA programs and everything that we have going on. If you were there, like Miss Maria Granados just shared, we had our presentation. We did the Book of Life. And of course, Mia, where is she? She's up on stage. Ramiro is that one student that even those of us that worked together when we were in collaboration at our LCAP meetings, he's the copious notes person. He is detailed, oriented, and precise. So he started his own chess club at school. So now you see our students walking around with little chess packets, and you know that he has this beautiful board that he carries around. So not only all the academics, it's not the mathematics, it's everything. Those TKs look up to them. They look and see, it's like, oh my gosh, was she the one? They're always available whenever needed. And I'm sure the teachers that are here present would say they are natural-born leaders. And I have a special thank you for them because this undertaking of being part of the LCAP committee, it's not an easy thing to do. So serving on this committee that you did, it was a huge undertaking. And say that we are proud of you, it's not enough. We are so grateful for what you did, all of us here. You were responsible and active participants. You were engaged in material that sometimes didn't make a lot of sense. You took your role very seriously. You showed your true civic responsibility really looks like, even at your young age. It takes a lot of courage to sit at a table with district leaders, administrators, and adults to talk about big institutional goals. You were completely unintimidated and bold. You were bold with your beliefs. You were bold with your comments. You collaborated and shared your life experiences, and you ensured that the student body had a real voice. Your voices were heard. You helped shape the future for our Wainimi school community because your insights that you shared would directly impact our funding, our programs, and the overall student experience for years to come. You represented our Larson School with excellence and pride. You made a real difference in our meetings. You were that student view that we all needed to listen, and everybody listened to you. Your passion and your clarity has left a lasting impression on all of us. So wishing you absolute the best in all the next chapters and books and volumes that I expect from you. We know you will continue to do amazing things. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ramiro. Great job. Thank you. And Mr. Sanchez.
I would like to call up Ms. Cardi Flores and Ms. Kylie. I didn't think it was gonna, wow. So, when I started 3 years at Green, these were two of many students that stood out. And seeing them blossom into true leaders on campus, I'm getting emotional. Seeing them on campus and being student leaders and being the voice and often being the leaders in those rooms, because as our elementary district, this is the culmination of the Wainimi Elementary School District. Having leaders who can articulate their thoughts, their emotions in a manner in which it is understood by the adults in the room that are making the decisions. And having Ms. Kaya Miller here for 2 years, and both of these students also served on our school site council as well. This is a little bit harder than I thought. And seeing how great and how they flourished by taking advantage of all the opportunities that they had within our school, being part of cheer, theater, all the robust programs that we have at Green, is a true testament to what the vision of our district has. And they are the true embodiment of what we want in our Wainimi Elementary School District students. With that said, I want to thank both of you for all that you've done to be a positive impact, to be student leaders, to be role models, to be mentors, to be all that you can be, and taking those risks where sometimes it's difficult to make those decisions. But I want to thank both of you from the bottom of my heart, from our district, from our school site, Thank you for the time and commitment that you put into making those decisions, having your voice heard. I know at times you didn't want to present, but thank you for stepping up and being those leaders in the room, because your voices matter. You taking up those spaces, having a place at the seat, having a place at the table, it matters. So thank you.
Students could come forward. We'd like to take a photo of all of you. As a few of the principals shared, these students really did with these meetings. They had to get up and present in front of teachers, classified staff, administrators, parents, and that can be an intimidating situation. And they really did an outstanding job, and we're not nervous about making sure that their voice was heard. So thank you to these students. We're going to really miss our ones that are promoting to high school next year, but thanks for all that you've contributed.
Can I say something, please? Yeah, of course. I would like to thank the parents of these students. Could you please stand up so we can recognize you? I'd also like to recognize the teachers that have taught these students and the principals and others that have led these students.
Thank you so much, and we know that you all have school tomorrow, so if you need to, we don't let you leave the LCAP meeting early, but if you need to leave this meeting.
Item 4.3, presentation of the district's 2025-26 retirees. Mr. Castellano.
Good evening, governing board members, Dr. Walker, staff, families. Tonight is one of those bittersweet moments. We're honored to recognize our retirees and thank them for their years of dedicated service to our students and schools. Each of you has made a lasting impact through your hard work, commitment, and care for our school community. Whether in the classroom, office, transportation, maintenance, food service, or the business office, your contributions have helped shape the lives of countless students and families. On behalf of the Board of Education and the entire district, thank you for your service, your dedication, and the legacy that you leave behind. We wish you all the best in this exciting new chapter of retirement. And would you please join me in congratulating and celebrating our retirees. So at this moment, I will go ahead and call our retirees up because we have a little token of appreciation for them. If they would like, they could say a few words, or if not, that's okay as well. And then after I call you up, if you would go around up on the dais, and the governing board will be able to congratulate you. And after you're done, if you would stand up here so we could get a picture, that would be fantastic. Okay? So, our first retiree with 20 years of service, Karen Aldridge.
Karen's not here.
With 37 years of service, Robin Berkemer.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's been great, and I thank the union. The party on Friday was
With 28 years of service, Heidi Childs. "29 years of service, Nancy Cueva. "32 years of service, Angie Fulmer.
I'm good, thank you.
29 years of service, Heidi Haynes. "33 years of service, Susan Sager. "29 years of service, Dave Satterberg. With 13 years of service, Susan Smith.
Lest you think that I'm young, it was 13 years in this district, but I've been teaching since my 4-year-old son was 6 weeks old.
With 34 years of service, Jose Valdez. With 36 years of service, Lisa Walthall.
It's been wonderful. I second what Robin said.
With 29 years of service, Deborah Ward. "7 years of service, Sandra Abel. "21 years of service, Kenneth Bowen. "30 years of service, Alicia Devlin. "25 years of service, Henry Hottendorf.
I'd like to thank the Wyoming School District for letting me work for 25 years and the staff. And I'd like to thank Haycox Elementary School for their wonderful retirement. I was told that was the biggest retirement anybody's ever seen.
With 30 years of service, Florence Murray Houston. 18 years of service, Lee Hua McKinnon. 10 years of service, Wilfredo Malabanan. 23 years of service, Cristina Ortega.
'em. I'm not shy with microphones. I just want to say thank you again for the opportunity to be able to do what I love, which is help people, help children. I started out in Riverside County with a job that I wanted so that I could be with my children. And my children ended up loving it. As adults, I have two that work, one at Juanini, my daughter Christy, who I'm proud of, and my son Robert Angel, who works for the El Rio High School, one of the high schools there. And then my youngest, well, she's a nurse, but she still worked here too. So you gave all of us the opportunity, and I'm very proud to be a Juanini family forever. Thank you.
And with 40 years of service, Rosemarie Vasquez.
I just wanted to say thank you. 4 years, yes, it was a long time, but it seemed like it wasn't that long. I felt like family. I have family here. I went through all these principals and teachers, and it was just like family. My children loved it. But if you really pay attention, I started at the age of 16. And then I came back. I was a new supervisor. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So if we could give all our retirees one big round of applause. We witnessed them, and we want to thank them for all the years of service. If I could have all the retirees please come up to the front so we can get a picture.
You want my sandwich?
Okay.
Say, I'm finally free. Thank you.
He played guitar.
Item 5.1, oral communications. Please note that per our current board bylaw 9323, speaking time is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. We have some general speakers. The first one, Maria Correa.
Primeramente, buenas tardes. Nosotros somos un grupo de padres dispuestos a servir. Nos gusta ayudar en las escuelas. Estamos aquí para ser escuchados como padres miembros de la comunidad, para que nos puedan brindar apoyo para ser padres voluntarios en las escuelas de nuestros hijos.
First of all, good afternoon. We're a group of parents willing to serve. We like to help our schools, and we're here to be heard like parents and members of the community, and you guys could help us offer support to be parent volunteers.
Ya que esto es de gran apoyo para las instituciones y dar un buen ejemplo a nuestros hijos y ellos también hagan cosas buenas por nuestra comunidad.
Since this is a great support for any institution and give our children good examples to do good things for our communities.
Nosotros tenemos hijos en diferentes escuelas y queríamos poder brindar nuestro tiempo en Blackstock, en el comunitario, apoyar a maestros y personal en general.
We have different children at different schools, and we would like to be able to help, provide our support and our time at Blackstock, at the community program, and support teachers, personnel, and in general.
Yo me llamo Karina Mendoza. Actualmente ya soy voluntaria de Larsen. Estoy ahí la mayoría del tiempo que la principal me necesite.
My name is Karina Mendoza, and I'm a volunteer at Larsen, and I'm at Larsen the majority of the time, or the time where the principal needs me.
Ahí estoy desempeñando poder administrar todos los materiales que llevan para maestros. Si me necesitan sacar en copias, hago copias. Y también ayudé en todo lo del examen de CAS. Igual firmé y hice todo el protocolo para ser voluntario.
And so some of my duties as a volunteer is to help keep materials in order. And I also help with the CAS testing. And I went through the protocol and signed and did what I needed to do to be able to help them at the school.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Hola, mi nombre es Linda Hurtado, soy mamá de 4 hijos. Desde que estaban en kinder yo he sido voluntaria, pero ya en la junior high, en la high school, ya no, siempre estoy preguntando, ¿puedo ser voluntaria o puedo asistir? Y no, nunca, sí puedes ir, pero nunca me dejan. a causa de eso, pues no conozco bien la escuela por dentro. Mis hijos me dicen, tengo 6 periodos, a veces llegan tarde, le digo, ¿por qué no llegan? Oh, es que me queda una clase de 1 hora y ya otra.
My name is Maria Linda Hurtado, and I'm a parent of 4 students. And ever since my children were younger, I've been a volunteer at the different schools until they went into junior high and high school. And, that's when I haven't been able to become a volunteer. And, I have asked the school to become a volunteer, and I would like to be a volunteer. But they tell me, yes, you could come and be a volunteer, but they never tell me when I could go. And as a result of that, I'm not too familiar, with the school. And, sometimes I get notices that my children are late, but, because I don't know the layout of the schools, I'm not able to be able to help them and, understand, where their classes are located.
Me gustaría saber qué se necesita para poder ser voluntaria en la junior high y en la high school, para así entender lo académico para mis hijos y poder ayudarlos un poco más, porque a veces necesitan la ayuda y no sé ni conozco la locación y no sé cómo ayudarlos.
And so I would like to know how I could become a parent volunteer for the junior high and the high school. And so that way I'd be able to help my students be better students and how they could succeed. So that way I could know the system, and then I could know locations. So that way I could better help them.
And we're extending the time, so because it's being translated, so you can continue even after the 3 minutes so that there's time to translate.
En la elementaria estuve ayudando de mis hijos con 3er grado, 4º, 5º, conocía todo el personal de la escuela de mis hijos y tengo diplomas, no los pude traer porque me avisaron de una hora a otra que tenía tiempo yo aquí para hablar, pero me gustaría seguir teniendo más diplomas en high school y junior high para que mis hijos vean y ellos ser un ejemplo yo para ellos y ellos puedan echarle más ganas y saliendo de su high school que continúen con su estudio.
And so I've been a volunteer for my children's school for starting 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And I received certificates. And so I would like to continue to volunteer as a parent in junior high and continue to receive those certificates so my children are able to see the hard work, and then they'll be motivated to continue with their education and to continue forward.
Gracias, y aquí sigue otra madre de familia.
Muy buenas tardes, mi nombre es María Correa, yo tengo 4 hijos, mi hijo se acaba de graduar apenas la semana pasada de la UNM, no tuve como acceso a nada de sus clases, se graduó, no entendí nada de sus estudios ni nada, ni supe cómo involucrarlo a una carrera que él escogiera, pero tengo 3 más que sí quiero que me den el permiso para poderlos guiar para que sean unos buenos ciudadanos.
Good afternoon, my name is Maria Correa, and I'm a parent of 4 students, and one of them graduated from high school at Wainini last week, and I unfortunately, and unfortunately I was not able to be a volunteer, and I wasn't able to help them and guide them, to continue on with a career path because I wasn't aware of the classes that they offer. And then I just wanted to ask for permission to be able to be a volunteer so I could help my 3 other students that are still in school, so that way I'd be able to guide them so they could learn about the career paths.
Sí, porque ahorita me preguntan mis hijos, ma, quiero tomar esta clase, ¿y cómo le hago? Y le digo, pues no sé cómo hacerle, no tengo la herramienta correcta para decirte a dónde te tienes que dirigir, y solitos se tienen que ir desenvolviendo, pero a veces quieren como, ma, tú pregunta. Le digo, mi hijo, no sé dónde preguntar, porque en sí no conozco todo el plantel de las escuelas en donde están, ni sé cómo exactamente a dónde dirigirme.
And so sometimes they ask me, about different career paths or different classes they want to take, and so then I tell them that I don't know, what the answer is, so then they have to kind of like do it on their own. But I would like to have that opportunity so that way I know, I learn about the schools and the school system, so that way I could be able to help and guide them.
Para mí es todo. Muchísimas gracias por su tiempo.
And that's it for me.
Lo único que queremos es aligerar la carga de trabajo en las escuelas y servir de algo en la comunidad. Muchas gracias por su tiempo.
And so what we would like to accomplish is to alleviate, the workload from the schools and to be able to serve our community.
Thank you so much for coming tonight. I know a number of these parents have also served on our LCAP committee as well, so we'll be recognizing them at some point too. But we will definitely follow up with the principals at each school, because parents are an important partner to us, and we'll keep trying to figure it out. So thank you so much.
HE8, Mr. Gomez.
I'm filling in for Mr. Gomez tonight. It was not on my bingo card, but here I am. Good evening, governing board members, Dr. Walker, staff, and families. My name is Michelle Valdivieso. I am a school psychologist in this district, but I am also an executive board member for the Wainini Education Association as their auditor. And part of my responsibility as auditor is to spearhead the perception survey that we do every year. And for those of you who don't know, the perception survey is a survey we give to bargaining unit members regarding feedback of district level administrators, site level administrators, as well as the school board. And the purpose of the survey is to provide constructive feedback, and the intent of that feedback is to guide towards positive problem solving and kind of solutions to any concerns that might be around in the campuses or the school district as a whole. The survey was opened on March 11th, and we closed it on April 3rd. We had a total of 259 responses. The top 3 schools with the highest response rate was Parkview as number 1, Haycox number 2, and Larson number 3. I really want to personally thank Liz Hockey. I know she's here. She really supported me in organizing the data because I'm not very savvy with Google Sheets and how all this tech stuff works. So she was my phone a friend, and she helped me put it all together. So next year, I think I'll be pretty independent in doing this. It was not an easy feat. But I am here tonight because I'd like to present the school board members with their paper copies of all of the results, because they get all of them. Dr. Walker received hers last week. And then tomorrow, just so admin knows, you'll be receiving an individualized email from me with a PDF copy of your personal results for your review. And site level Wainini representatives will receive a paper copy that they will keep in their possession so the folks on their sites can go review it with them present. So that is why I'm here today. Short and sweet. I'm happy to be on the board. I'm happy to be here tonight. But if you have any questions, I'm here. or you know where to find me. I'm at Larson. So with your permission, I'm going to hand you your packets. Thank you. Darlene, there you go. Say your name for me. Suhan. I will get that. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Good night.
CSEA, Mr. Ayala.
Good evening. I don't have much to report other than we have a chapter meeting this Wednesday, and we're still in negotiations with the district, and it continues on Thursday, June 11th. That's all I have to report. Thank you.
Item 5.2, written communications. None. Approval of board minutes. Item 6.1, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of May 11, 2026. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Bruno, second by Gomez. Are there any comments or discussion from the board? None. Roll call. Bruno? Aye. Constanza?
Aye.
Gomez?
Aye.
Luis?
Aye.
And myself. Motion passes 5-0. Approval of the minutes of the special meeting of June 1, 2026. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay. Motion by Luis, second.
I'll second.
Okay, by Bruno. Any comments or discussion from the board? No? Roll call. Bruno?
Aye.
Constanza?
Aye.
Gomez?
Aye.
Luis?
Aye.
And myself. Motion passes 5-0. Adoption of the consent agenda. Are there any requests from the board, staff, or audience to remove an item or transfer it from the consent agenda to the action agenda? No? Do we have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Motion to adopt. Second.
Okay, motion by Gomez, second by Constanza. Roll call. Bruno?
Aye.
Constanza?
Aye.
Gomez?
Aye.
Luis?
Aye.
And myself. Motion passes 5-0. Educational services. Item 8.1, public hearing on LCAP. Dr. Molina.
Thank you, members of the board, community. It's a pleasure to be able to present to you the LCAP annual update and a look at the 26-27 LCAP. Here's a review of our goals. We continue our goals into the 26-27 school year, so continue with a high-quality educational program, promote health, safety, and well-being of all students, increase and strengthen family and community engagement, and then finally provide sufficient instructional materials, safe and clean facilities, appropriately credentialed teachers, and other basic conditions necessary to implement our actions. Here we see the progression of data from our baseline year in 22-23. 1.1 is our metric English Language Arts CASP assessment, and in over those 3 years in English Language Arts, we see a growth of 7 points from the baseline year. In math, we see a growth of 5.8 points from the baseline year. And in science, 5th grade, an increase of 12 points, and 8th grade, 11.5. Here are funds that are dedicated to each of the programs in Goal 1. And then some updates, minor revisions, or unchanged actions as we move into 26-27. So where you see a line through the progress notes, those are items that we are no longer continuing because they've been completed. And those that are highlighted are added for the new year. And those that are there without a highlight or a line through are continued actions and progress. So highlights, we will be adding additional training in GLAD guided language acquisition and design, moving into our secondary schools at the 6th grade. We are going to provide U-Fly training for K through 2 teachers to train around foundational skills and having one unified program that we know all K through 2 teachers will be trained in. And currently we have about 55 teachers signed up for our summer training, and then we'll provide additional training during the year for those who aren't able to make it for that summer date. Continue our partnership with UCLA Math, MTSS, and SEAL. Our dual language multilingual collaboratives will continue, adding additional training on our Wainimi integrated units. So we received feedback not only from surveys, from our community partners and teachers. Integrated units, how do we support teachers who haven't had the opportunity or felt comfortable in beginning those integrated units? So we will work on expanding our training at the beginning of the year and over the summer to allow access to professional learning around our units. Continue with our Nonviolent Crisis Prevention Institute. And we are adding this year the CPI verbal de-escalation strategies for all classified and certificated staff. So they'll have an opportunity to participate in an online training for verbal de-escalation to support students in the classroom and on the playground. And then continue our teachers supporting teachers on a monthly basis. In 1.2, support for multilingual programs, we are going to expand our SEAL support for our MLSTs around coaching implementation, and we are providing or dedicating 3 principal meetings over the year with SEAL focused on integrated and designated ELD. You'll see in the other areas that we are continuing with our current actions. Again, as we continue into actions 1.5 through 1.8, continuing with progress. And then in goal 2, a focus on attendance rate. Our attendance rate from the baseline year has grown 1.1%, and chronic absenteeism has declined since the baseline year. Baseline was 18.17%, while the dashboard displays from 24-25, 19.2%. Our current Q data shows our chronic absenteeism as 14.01. So if that is what's uploaded to the dashboard for the upcoming year, we'll see an even greater decrease in chronic absenteeism. We see our funding dedicated there to this goal. And then highlighting just some changes in our actions. Again, the verbal de-escalation strategies continues to support learning in goal 2 and provides those supports for students and teachers and staff. We are starting a second step tier 1 reboot. So second step has been a part of the Wainimi School District for a long time. And we just found that a handful of schools are really digging into the lessons and incorporating that into their MTSS response. So we are providing additional training next year to give it a reboot and also work it into our MTSS structure as our tier 1 support. And then also working with our school counselors in supporting attendance. They currently already support with chronic absenteeism, but developing different ways with our senior director, Mrs. Melcosa Vasquez, how to provide plans and work closely with students who are chronically absent. Finally, at goal 3, we provide parent engagement opportunities throughout the schools. And these are different examples of each of these areas of parent engagement. So we had 1,959 opportunities for parents, assisting parents in understanding the language of schools and learning. 1,088 opportunities to assist parents in learning how to establish structure and discipline at home. 562 opportunities to educate parents on topics that assist them and their families. 850 opportunities to engage parents as partners in education, empowerment, and advocacy for their children. And then 1,215 opportunities to promote community building, cultural responsiveness, and connections between schools and home. This is in A, assisting parents in understanding the language of schools is a slight decline from last year. In B as well. C, we have increased these opportunities in comparison to last year. And for D and E, we have also increased these opportunities over the last year. And there you see the funding that's tied to this goal and the actions. 3.1, we are making minor changes to our professional learning to promote safe and welcoming school environments, focused around volunteers. So it's very timely that we got to hear our parent comments and just working with parents on what it would look like to volunteer in a school, and then also working with our school sites and opportunities for parents in volunteering in schools. And then item 3.3, parent workshops, family nights, PAC, technology-based communication, specifically Parent Square and parent ambassadors. Minor revisions, and that the feedback that we received from our parents at the community partners meeting, and then also through our surveys, is that Parent Square was the main place where parents were getting their information from, and really appreciated that mode of communication. So thinking about how can we increase our participation of Parent Square and reaching out to families around our LCAP goals and parent engagement, and then also expanding our parent workshops and family nights to our diverse set of families with students in special education, our military families, English learner families, Asian American Pacific Islanders. So really just looking at the wide scope of families that we serve and how can we better meet their needs.
So we open the hearing for. So we open the hearing at 7:31 p.m. Does anybody have any feedback? Okay, so we will close. Probably. So we will close the hearing at 7:32 p.m. Item 8.2, Assessment Committee Presentation, Dr. Molina.
Thank you. This is our opportunity to give the district assessment team update. So we had a diverse group of teachers, specialists, administrators come together to comprise the Waimea Elementary School District assessment team. And I have the privilege of sharing just some of our, why we came together, what we accomplished together, and then I also want to invite some of our teachers to speak, and then recognize the teachers who are here this evening who are part of the committee. So over the first few months of starting with the Waimea School District, I received various feedback from staff at site visits, through our MTSS meetings, principal meetings regarding the desire to update our assessment system. There was a sense of testing fatigue for teachers and students, a desire to have a formative assessment that would provide actionable feedback to support targeted instruction and consistency of assessments K through 8th grade. In response to the feedback, we created the assessment committee, and our committee included a range of teachers, specialists like psychologists and speech and language pathologists, reading specialists, MLSTs, administrators, and district staff. Our first meeting was on March 25th, where we reviewed our existing assessments and testing calendar, and we discussed how our CASP testing weeks could be improved to minimize the impact on our testing calendar, while maximizing our opportunities to review testing features and strategies. In April, we reviewed updates to CASP lessons, worked with Panorama to begin discussions around assessment and our MTSS structure, and we participated in a presentation by M-Class to determine if we move forward with piloting and reviewing materials. In May, we debriefed our M-Class pilot experience, utilized a rubric to review the ELA assessment in grades 3 through 8 and the math assessment in grades K through 8, and determined a recommendation for expanding use of M-Class assessments K through 8. Today, June 8th, we are presenting to you, and we've decided to continue to meet at least one more time in the fall to designate tiered assessments to support our academic MTSS structure for benchmarks and progress monitoring. Some of our outcomes. The first one is our assessment calendar updates. We were able to spread out test administration over the year, so that way where we saw overlap in some of the assessment windows and assessments themselves, we were able to spread them out over the year. CASP practice weeks were modified. Instead of having complete weeks, we're able to modify it into specific lessons by grade level spans, which seemed much more actionable for our teachers who were on the committee. One SEL screener was reduced over the course of the year to allow for less assessments over the year. And then one MTSS cycle was also reduced. So we have one in August, and then again in, I think, October, and then another one in the spring. Another outcome was the Unified K-8 benchmark assessment. At this point, I would also like to invite Leticia Perez Garcia and Irma Cervantes to speak to their experience in the implementation of M-Class.
Good evening, board and community members and teachers. My name is Leticia Perez Garcia, and I'm the literacy specialist at our Cox Elementary School, and a part of this amazing group of teachers trying to create some good outcomes with our assessments. So tonight I want to share how M-Class Dibbles, basically the progress monitoring, has helped support student reading achievement during my intervention block. First, the M-Class Dibbles platform is very user-friendly. It identifies the most appropriate foundational reading skills to assess and automatically set attainable growth goals for each student. The progress monitoring assessments are very skill-based, and they take about 1 minute to administer, making them efficient and practical for ongoing use. One of the greatest benefits that I found in implementing it the entire year is that I've seen that how progress is monitored allows all the stakeholders to look at the data real time. Teachers, SST, classroom teachers, the intervention teacher, and especially the students themselves. They really see the growth real time rather than waiting over the 3 benchmark periods to truly see if they're meeting those marks. Using both M-Class, Dibbles, Platform, and Panorama, student scores are displayed on graphs with a visual aim line, making it easy to see whether a student is on track to meeting the goal, and their growth targets are allowing them to close the gap. But the real-time data is really important because it truly helps me define, and truly our teachers define, to see if the practice and intervention is working, and if it's responding to the instruction. So we can make real-time adjustments to the practice in place. Ultimately, progress monitoring helps us make data-driven decisions that lead to better outcomes for students. It ensures that the instruction and interventions we provide are targeted, effective, and responsive for each student. So as an HESD teacher, I am proud of the growth our students are making this year and grateful for the opportunity to support them on their journey to become successful readers. Thank you for your time.
Hello, everybody, boards, district employees, and community members, principals. Good evening. I would like to start by thanking you guys for the opportunity of creating the assessment committee, for the invitation, although some of us, we reluctantly want to participate. However, I do see the importance, so thank you for that opportunity. My name is Irma Cervantes. I worked at Washington Elementary School for the past 26 years, supporting 4th and 5th graders. So my opinion comes from my upper grade expertise, okay? I was able to pilot that M-Class math demos platform with my students right before CASP. I was eager to test it and compare the results with Ames Web versus M-Class, and then kind of see the projections and kind of competitive when it comes to the numbers and the CASP. So it was really easy to actually push out. Use the platform was really easy, just assign it. The kids had no problem, so that was a plus. The problems were really kid-friendly, I believe, the way that they were working through the problems and they were able to use their tools, so I saw them engaged. I did run into a little hiccup with my high students and really take their time. They could not finish the test. So I didn't get to see like their whole full, like the results. However, it was interesting now that I've been looking at the SIRS CAS test. Some of the projections were kind of on the right on it. So I'm kind of pleased to see like, okay, the projections kind of worked well with a prediction of the CAS. What I mentioned, the positives, it's easy to use for teachers, students. What I've heard and what I saw quickly with the data is provided fast, we can see it. Another plus is that it really provides like the levels for the kids and the lessons that come along with it, along with the standards. And I really appreciate that as a teacher because sometimes I forget the standards, so it's right there, you click on it. So it's a constant reminder, like, okay, it's right here, we can use it, use the lessons that is provided. And the other positive that I saw is that I like how this platform also allows or analyzes the way students think, because sometimes they'll solve the problem in a different way. So it has their own thinking. And I think that aligns really well with the UCLA labs that were working how to apply the math in a different way. So I really appreciate that, and I can't wait to see the results of how students perform or answer the math question in a different way. And that is it. So thank you for listening and the opportunity.
Thank you. So you can see here with that expansion, again, it's a user-friendly interface. You would get those comprehensive reports. Data is accessible. We have we're able to track metrics across the district, K through 8. And then also it provides that tailored student groups and lessons that correlate to the data. Here's just one more look at what that framework would be, K through 2. We currently already use M-Class for English Language Arts and Lectura for our Spanish Language Arts. And mathematics assessment would be new in K through 2. So we would maintain and then expand to math. In 3-5 would be a replacement of Ames Web in English Language Arts and math. And then grades 6 through 8 also a full replacement. Finally, our professional learning would be taken care of in-house. Since we have experience already with the K2 rollout of M-Class assessment, we're prepared to provide professional learning before the end of the year and in August. And then we'll have a chance to see that first implementation of M-Class in our trimester 1 assessment window. And then we will meet again in the fall to look at our MTSS structure and our tiered assessments to progress and monitor student growth. And then finally, I know we have some members here from the assessment committee. I'm hoping that they would stand so we can honor them and just recognize all of their hard work. We know it's hard to go above and beyond the regular school day, but we appreciate them. Thank you.
Item 8.3, approval of the HESD Math Adoption Committee's recommendation to the board. Dr. Molina.
All right, it is my pleasure again to speak to you about the HESD Math Adoption. So in preparation for our math adoption, Educational Services solicited teacher participation. We wanted to have a representation of at least 2 teachers in each grade level, various school sites represented. We had members from special education and our dual language teacher partners. Our district lens guided our selection of materials to pilot and the review of materials post-pilot. So this lens is guided by specific characteristics like rigorous and engaging math experiences for students, equitable access for all types of learners, coherent progression of mathematical ideas and big ideas across grades, high quality resources for teachers, opportunities for students to see themselves as mathematicians, technology as a supplement to enhance learning, and intervention resources and scaffolds to provide access to all students with various skills. Some of the district expectations: it was essential to us to have a K-8 curriculum in English and Spanish to provide instructional coherence. We needed a cohesive, vertically aligned K-8 program that could support DLI programs, language consistency, and professional learning district-wide. We used the rubric recommended by the California Collaborative for Educational Excellence for curriculum adoptions and modified it slightly to align with our district lens. This rubric was used initially in narrowing down our selection of curriculum to pilot, and then another time post-pilot to evaluate the materials after implementation. We executed 2 back-to-back full-length 8-week piloting cycles. The first one with Great Minds Eureka Math and the second with Amplified Desmos Math. The 2 pilots we implemented, the first one started with Great Minds Eureka, January 12th through March 5th. And the second one was Amplified Desmos, March 9th through May 14th, a little bit longer because it spanned that spring break that we had. The implementation process, we started first with training in that new curriculum. Teachers chose a unit of practice by grade level, so both teachers chose the same unit to be able to compare and provide a rubric score. And then we had an 8-week implementation window. Our culminating meeting review, so after the pilot window, we came together again. Teachers had their scoring rubric. And so we reviewed the rubric within their partner teams. They had discussion. We were able to coordinate the assessment results with our K through 8 teachers. And then we looked at student and parent feedback. And then also we had a gallery walk of highlights and hurdles of each of the programs, and those were mixed grade levels. So here are some pictures from our post-pilot meetings. This is the culminating meeting after a pilot where we would discuss, collect, and tally the rubric results individually and by grade level. This document is highlighting the highlights and hurdles by the 6 domains in the rubric. Then this review was done as a mixed grade level group to allow time to hear from the varied perspectives on the domains from those different grade levels. Here are some teacher testimonials that were gathered at those meetings. And then I would also like to invite Kate Daniels and Heidi Wilcox.
Good evening. My name is Kate Daniels, and I teach first grade in the dual language program at Bard Elementary. This year, my partner teacher and I had the privilege of piloting the new Great Minds math curriculum in both English and Spanish. When we began this pilot, we were admittedly nervous. Moving to a completely new curriculum is a big shift, and we were uncertain about how our students would adapt. However, the rigor and engagement of the Great Minds materials quickly won us over. And more importantly, our students rose to the challenge. The curriculum structure was a major factor in our success. Great Minds balanced clear lessons, beginning with engaging warm-ups that moved quickly and students enjoyed. They then moved on to direct instruction with meaningful guided practice, which ensured that our students truly grasped foundational concepts before moving on. The quantitative results are clear. When we look at our AIMS web data across both first grade cohorts, in one cohort, our tier 1 proficiency grew from 23% in the fall to 71% in the spring. In the second cohort, we saw growth from 13% in the fall to 79% in the spring. Beyond the data, 3 specific aspects that stood out to me as an educator. First, the quality of the dual language materials. My partner teacher was particularly impressed by the Spanish translations. The language was authentic and high level. Furthermore, the word problems were perfectly decodable at each grade level. Our first graders were able to read our word problems, which is important. But they were not, sorry. Secondly, there was also a wonderful home practice workbook that clearly explained to parents the math concepts to enable them to help their students with the math. Last, the digital platform for teachers was exceptionally user-friendly. The data slides were clean and purposeful, providing exactly what was needed to facilitate learning without adding visual clutter that could distract from the core math concepts. I am incredibly proud of the progress our students have made this year, and I am eager to continue using this curriculum next year to build on that success. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Heidi Wilcox, and I teach 7th grade math at E.O. Green. So we've chose the Module 1 proportional relationship for our pilot, and we knew it was going to be a tough one because it's a challenging topic for a lot of students to grasp. Eureka Math did a really excellent job in the progression of the lessons. It started by first giving a table where students were just learning, well, what does it look like? Then they did the same with the graph. Once students had a very good understanding of the topic, they just started to create those tables, and then they started to create the graph. So it was a very good progression where they got the what is it first, and then they progressed from there. It ended up with very complex applications of all that they had learned at that point, which was good to see. Within the lessons, the progression of the problems was also very nicely done. There were enough problems so that we were able to do some problems together as a class, and then the students were able to work in pairs, and then I individually assigned some work for them to work on it at home. The problems progressed from very easy to very complex, so you were able to differentiate and give students who knew what they were doing or who were progressing faster, you're able to assign them more difficult problems towards the end of the lesson. What was really awesome is that I did not have to supplement it at all. Everything that I needed was there. I also thought about the teacher's edition and how the book was laid out in terms of a new teacher, and I thought that it really had good supports for somebody who's just starting, who does not have the experience, so I believe they did a really good job on that as well. I did survey my students at the end of each pilot, and my students found the Eureka Math a lot more easy to understand. They really liked that there was a good amount of space in the textbooks themselves where they could do their work. There's a lot of times in the textbook there's hardly anything there, so it was one problem a page, sometimes 2. So they really liked that one. They said that compared to Desmos, it helped you learn better. The assessment scores I was really happy with. It's a really challenging concept, and we started with 74%, and we went all the way up to 82.5% as my assessments progressed, and we were getting to harder topics. So it really showed that the students understood. So I was very happy, and the students, like they said it was easier to understand, and that's what makes a difference. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Our teachers also invited students and families to complete a feedback form to inform our decisions. Some teachers even had students write about their experience using the new curriculum. Many classrooms wrote an opinion essay or a persuasive essay, choosing one curriculum over the other. Since the Eureka pilot spanned January 12th through March 5th, and our benchmark screener immediately followed the implementation, we were able to see the district benchmark data post pilot number 1. Here we are comparing two groups of student data, those who participated in the pilot with a unit of study from Eureka and a group of students who did not. We can see that an increase in percentage of our students identified as low risk increased using the Eureka math curriculum. In addition, we saw a decrease in the percentage of students who would be identified as at high risk. At the same time, we also saw an increase of 2.32% growth in comparison to the national average percentile growth, and a 1.03% growth in the district comparison. This just gives an overall of the math implementation moving forward. We would provide professional learning, the foundational training June 29th and July 30th, plus additional dates as needed. 8 professional learning days in year 1. Teacher resources, they would receive their teacher resources, printed teacher guides, and the full digital platform along with manipulative kits by grade level. Student resources, the consumable textbooks will be replenished annually, and the yearly subscription to Great Minds digital platform. And then the support tools, the full assessment suite and math catalyst for intervention. And then you find the cost, either a 1-year quote or a 5-year quote. And in just speaking with the publisher, they believe they will get our materials to us, if approved, before the end of June. So we would have those available for teachers to utilize during the trainings. And then finally, I know we have several members of the Math Adoption Pilot Committee here, so I would like them to stand and so we can recognize them with applause. Thank you.
So do we have a motion to adopt a curriculum?
So moved.
Second. No, motion by Lee, second by Constance. Are there any comments from the audience? Any comments or discussion from the board? Go ahead.
So I really love the systematic way that the process you went through for looking at this, collecting the data and decision making. I really appreciate the fact that it's so systematic and implemented across the schools. And I have one question though about the slide on growth. Can you go back to that slide? Two back, I think. Yeah, that one. So the top is the control group, and the bottom is the treatment group, right? And so we saw, I guess the major difference was the growth and the low risk group. No real difference in the moderate risk group, right? And then not much change in the high risk group. Is that how you read this?
Well, you'll see, so if we're looking at the pilot group, just looking at the moderate risk, there is a decrease in the moderate risk, so assuming that some of those moved up to the low risk, right?
That's the problem with this data. You don't know if they went up or down. Okay, yeah.
I could get that though if you really wanted to.
I see it basically the same, 21 to 10 and 19 to 10. So whether they went up or down is, when you present the data, is anything kind of irrelevant. But what about the high risk group? Tell me how you interpret that.
The decline in the high risk with interventions, the instruction that was offered, students that are right there on the cusp possibly move to moderate or even to low.
Okay. So they started just slightly higher percentage, or lower percentage, which is what you want in high risk group. And then they have lower percentage in the spring. So it's a 9% improvement. And then it had a 6%. So I guess what I'm asking the group, because these are mathematician people, is this a significant difference? Is it something you think will hold up over time? and using this methodology of using low, moderate, high risk?
Well, a lot's going to change actually in the fall because we'll have a new assessment, right? This is Ames web assessment, so we'll have to see what the new assessment brings.
That was my follow-up question. Which assessment is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else? So, roll call. Bruno? Aye. Constanza? Aye. Gomez? Aye. Luis?
Aye.
Myself, motion passes 5-0. Item 8.4, approval of 2026-2027 school plans for student achievement, Ms. Ian.
Good evening, members of the governing board, Dr. Walker, and district cabinet. Tonight, I'm bringing forward for you the approval of the 2026 school plans for student achievement, or SIPSAs, for Bard, Blackstock, Green, Hathaway, Haycox, Bimini, Larson, Parkview, Sunkist, and Williams schools. The SIPSA is an annual plan developed and approved by each school's school site council that focuses school improvement efforts on increasing achievement for underserved students through data-driven goals, targeted actions, and strategic use of resources. Through a comprehensive needs assessment, principals and school site councils review student achievement data and develop school goals that align with the district local control accountability plan. The SIPSA also includes the planning and budgeting of federal Title I funds and other applicable resources to support students, particularly those who are academically underserved. The SIPSA process promotes continuous improvement through ongoing planning, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of actions designed to increase student success. And so at this time, we're recommending approval of the 2026-27 school plans for student achievement for the 10 schools participating in the school-based program. And I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
No questions. So do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move that we approve. I'll second.
Okay, motion by Bruno, second by Gomez. Are there any comments from the audience? Are there any comments or discussion from the board? None. Roll call. Constanza?
Aye.
Gomez?
Aye.
Bruno?
Aye.
Luis? And myself. Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. Thank you.
Business services, item 9.1, public hearing on the proposed 2026-27 district budget, Ms. Marshall.
Good evening, governing board members. Tonight I will present an overview of the Wainini Elementary School District proposed 26-27 adopted budget and financial outlook for the public hearing. The legislator must pass a balanced budget on or before June 15th. We will then await the governor to sign the budget. For the adopted budget, we have used the governor's May revision as our guidance, district priorities, and long-term financial planning. These first few slides highlight some of the May revision proposals. Let's begin with an update at the state level. So the governor's May revision proposed to provide a statutory cost of living adjustment, a COLA of 2.87% and a 1.44% augmentation COLA for a total of a 4.31% super COLA for the local control funding formula and select categorical programs. The additional funding comes with a requirement to provide up to 14 weeks of paid pregnancy disability leave. Proposition 98 funding proposal continues to be negotiated between the legislator and the governor. So final state budget details are expected by the end of June, and they may impact our district assumptions.
Can I just ask a question on that one, Patty?
Sure.
Can you go back to it?
Mm-hmm.
So it talks about a COLA and then a super COLA.
Yes.
But in essence, it's really not a cost of living allowance because we're being required to spend it on paid pregnancy disability leave, right?
Yes.
So the actual COLA that we have to work with to improve salaries is only the 2.87, right?
That is true. Yes. Thank you for pointing that out.
I just want to make sure the audience.
Yes.
That it isn't, they call it a super COLA.
It really
It's really not a COLA, it's a categorical.
Yes.
plus a COLA. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So California revenues have exceeded expectations largely due to growth in AI-related industries and capital gains. While revenues are currently strong, the state remains cautious because this growth may not be sustainable long-term. California's budget continues to depend heavily on the top 1% of income earners, creating volatility and uncertainty. The district will continue monitoring state budget developments carefully. So the proposed student support and professional development block grant increased from $2.8 billion to $5 billion statewide. If approved, Wainimi Elementary School District could receive approximately $5 million in restricted funding. This is a proposal and is not included in the adopted budget. The Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant funds are maintained and included in this budget. Special education-based funding is proposed to increase significantly, potentially adding approximately $2.1 million for our programs and services. These funds are included in our adopted budget. This budget is developed in accordance with all education code requirements. It is aligned with the district's local control and accountability plan that Sol just presented, and tonight's hearing provides an opportunity for community input before final adoption. The board will consider final approval at the June 22nd, 26th meeting. So this slide shows the local control funding formula revenue increased by approximately $940,000 due primarily to the Super COLA. Federal funding declined slightly because of reductions in impact aid and IDEA funding. Other state funding decreased because the prior student support block grant was fully funded in 25-26. Local revenue increased significantly due to a one-time workers' compensation dividend and a projected special education funding increases. On the expense side, the salary changes include the step and column movement. The state unemployment insurance rate remains the same at 0.05%. The workers' comp rate increased slightly from 1.759% to 1.889%. Our pension costs show no change to the CalSTRS rate, remaining at 19.1%, and the CalPERS rate decreased modestly by 0.41%, lowering the rate to a 26.4% rate. I just wanted to note our book supplies and services are budgeted with current year amounts only. We do not have carryovers until first interim when the current fiscal year is closed. So a major expenditure for 26-27 is the math curriculum adoption that we have budgeted at $2.5 million. Sol just pointed out it came in a little lower, so that would be a savings. And if it actually is received this year, then the money we have reserved next year would not be spent on that. Property and liability insurance costs remain relatively stable. Utility and operational costs are projected to increase only minimally. Many operational projects will continue to be supported through alternate funding sources to reduce pressure on the general fund, as we have our bond fund and our school service, capital service funds. So the district begins 26-27 with a healthy beginning balance of approximately $43.6 million. Total projected revenues are approximately $139.6 million. Our total expenditures are projected at $151.3 million. This results in a projected deficit spending amount of approximately $11.7 million. Despite the deficit spending, the district projects an ending balance of nearly $31.9 million. So this slide shows the projected ending fund balance is the $31.9 million. So required reserves for economic uncertainties remain at the state minimum requirement of 3%. Committed and assigned funds support specific district priorities and restricted programs. The district has also set aside funds to address declining enrollment impacts. These reserves help ensure ongoing fiscal stability during uncertain economic conditions. This slide highlights the district's other funds. The cafeteria fund expenditures exceed revenues due to rising food and operational costs. The bond building and facility funds continue supporting modernization and facility projects. The bond interest and redemption fund remains stable and is managed by Ventura County Office of Education. Overall, these funds help support operations beyond the general fund. State law requires districts to demonstrate they can meet financial obligations for the current and 2 subsequent years in our multi-year projection. The multi-year projection uses current assumptions based on the governor's May revision. Economic uncertainty continues to create challenges for TK through 12 education funding statewide. And here's some assumptions that we use in our multi-year projection. Enrollment and ADA are projected to continue declining over the next 2 years. Our local control funding changes are modest and depend heavily on state budget conditions. The STRS rate is stable during this period, and the PERS rate fluctuates down and up and then down again. But we do monitor this carefully, and we are looking at our enrollment and staffing, and that remains essential for our fiscal stability. So this slide shows the beginning and ending fund balances for 2026, 27, and the 2 out years. Deficit spending is projected to decrease over the next 2 years, as you can see on we have 11.6, and then we go down to 4.5, and then down to 2.7. So we are monitoring our deficit spending. Our required reserves for economic uncertainty continue to be maintained. While challenges remain, the district continues to demonstrate long-term fiscal solvency. We project to end 26-27 year with approximately a 15% reserve. In the middle column, we are also showing about a 14% reserve, and in the last column, we end with a projected 13% reserve. We are deficit spending in all 3 years, but watching it, as I noted before this. So the detailed multi-year projection is included as part of the SAC's financial report, which is attached to the board agenda. So looking ahead, Hueneme Elementary School District remains committed to protecting student learning and essential programs. The district continues focusing on operational efficiencies and strategic use of alternate funding. Our key challenges include declining enrollment, student absences, and potential rising operational costs. Despite these challenges, the district remains financially stable and proactive in reducing deficit spending. The goal is to maintain strong educational opportunities while protecting long-term fiscal health. So before I have you guys vote on the public hearing requirement, I wanted to go over some things in the SACs. Dr. Weiss has asked me to review these, and I don't have a slide, but we're gonna have Mr. Ragsdale show on the screen our criterion standards review summary and some of the supplemental information. Here it is. I don't know if you can make it any bigger, but sorry. Anyway, so on the criterion standards, This is a very large report, our SACS report. So this is a summary on the top where it kind of answers all the questions in the body of it. But when we have on a criteria and standards, when you have a not met, then that is kind of telling you there might be some fiscal indicators that you might have concern over. So our first not met is on enrollment. And on this enrollment page, they're looking back at 23-24 and 24-25 saying we were not met. And the decline in enrollment was greater than expected in those years, but we budgeted enrollment using that funded 3-year average. So the next one that was not met was the ADA to enrollment. And this is using P2 ADA enrollment and looking at historical ratios and then going forward. So this is our projections for 26-27 through 2028-29, and the district, we are working to increase our attendance rates and utilizing the new attendance recovery program. So we are trying to get better on our ADA to enrollment. The next not met is salaries and benefits. And this we passed for the first 2 years, but in the out years, it said that our unrestricted expenditure ratio is slightly higher, just a scooch from the year before, but it says a not met. And our unrestricted revenues, such as our local control funding formula revenues growth, they have not kept pace with our unrestricted expenditure increases. So we had a little not met on that too. The next not met is other expenditures. And this is, they're just saying our projected expenditures and books and supplies and services is showing that we are not meeting that. The last one is our deficit spending, and that we did not meet. And as you can see, I projected that we were declining with deficit spending all 3 years, and so that is calling that out. But the declining enrollment is really affecting our district's local control funding formula revenues. So we will look at ways to cut expenditures, and if we further decline, then we always look at staffing in the out years too. I think we're going to move on to our supplemental information. So if you have a yes, then there's some issues that they want to address those. We had long-term commitments, and it says the district has long-term multi-year commitments or debt agreements, which is true. We have our bond fund that it's calling out, and we do have to repay those bond funds over several 20, 30 years. The next yes is status of labor agreements. And it is because we said we have not settled in the out years, but we are still settling in the current year with CSEA. So that is calling those out. The next is our local control and accountability plan. And did the board adopt an LCAP or an update for the budget year? So yes, the board will. I mean, it was presented and hopefully it will be adopted. And the LCAP expenditures, does the school district's budget include expenditures necessary to implement the LCAP? And that is a definite yes. Declining enrollment is a yes. We've addressed that. And that really is the last yes, I think. We have talked about that. I want to go back up to the supplemental information. There was a few I skipped over. So our contingent revenues, are any projected revenues for the budget or 2 subsequent fiscal years contingent on reauthorization And we said yes, because we receive federal impact aid, and that is contingent upon reauthorization from the federal government annually. And also our contributions have contributions from unrestricted to restricted resources or transfers to and from the general fund. Have they changed by more than the standard? And in that case, yes, it did, because we are now in our budget increasing the total, the new funding for special ed. So that lowers our contribution because we see more special ed funding come in. So I think I've covered that. And then I'm going to just thank you for listening to all of this. And hopefully if you have any questions, just please let me know. And just really wanted to thank all the staff too for all the help they've given me.
Had a real nice job of presentation of the budget. Summary of what I heard, I want to see if I got this right. The overall revenue for the state is uncertain. Even though it went up $10 billion since January, they're still saying that may not stay. So that's one of the things we need to be aware of.
Yes.
The other thing I heard is that our biggest issue is our declining enrollment and our ADA. And all of us can do something about that, and we're already beginning to focus on it, so we feel pretty confident.
Yes.
All the other yeses that we got, we have a plan for making sure they're not a problem, but we do have to be conservative because there are those variables that, just for the audience to know, anyone who gets a yes in those are the predictors of insolvency for school districts. And so as a board, we should always look at those and say, what's our plan? Do we have a plan to make sure we stay solvent and we can still pay our staff and all that stuff? So I'm really confident with what you've provided to us, that you really have your hand on this and you've given us direction and making sure we focus on the things that we can do something about, like average daily attendance. So thank you.
Thank you. And Dr. Walker is a big help. Thank you.
Okay, we will now open the public hearing on the proposed 2026-2027 district budget at 8:21 p.m. No comments? All right, we will close the hearing at 8:21 p.m. Policies. Item 10.1, acceptance and first reading of proposed policy revisions. Dr. Walker.
Yes, you do have just a few policies for first reading. I'll just point out that 2 of these policies are brand new policies. One is on weather safety, and the other one is on remote meetings and attendance. That's a new policy, but a lot of it was deleted out of the meetings and notices policy, which referred to like telemeetings and things like that. So they've updated and created a separate policy for remote meetings. So please go ahead and look at those and review them and reach out to Cynthia or myself if you have any feedback on those.
I'll move that we accept it for a first reading.
Second.
Motion by Bruno, second by Luis. Any comments from the audience? Any comments or discussion from the board? Okay. Roll call. Bruno?
Aye.
Constanza?
Aye.
Gomez? Weeks?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Motion passes 5-0. Monthly reports and advanced planning. Item 11.1, trustee reports. Bruno?
Nothing.
Okay, Gomez?
I attended the meeting last week with you all. Yes, the LCAP meeting. That was really great. Thank you to all the staff that was there answering our questions. And I look forward to all of the end of the year celebrations. Thank you for extending invitations, and I hope we all have a restful summer. Thank you.
Constanza?
I also attended the LCAP session, and thank you to all of you. Dr. Molina, it was a great presentation, and thank you for helping us to understand more and make sense to everything. We appreciate it.
Weeks?
I just want to ditto that. We spent 2.5 hours or so on going over the majority of the LCAP. Any of you that are familiar with it, it requires a lot of reading to figure out what it's all about. And so we appreciate you putting that together for us. Dr. Walker put that together for us. It was a very informative session, and so I appreciate it. Thank you.
And myself, I'll keep it short. So I attended the delegate assembly for CSBA last month. We focused on our regional group focused on like the things that CSBA could do to help us have more authority as districts. So my group focused on the LCAP and the restrictions and limitations that could potentially change to help us with funding, because we obviously need more money, but that's not always the case. We don't always get more money. So it was very interesting. It was my first time there, so I learned a lot. We have a lot of work to do for that, since our next meeting is in December. And I also attended the LCAP session review, which was very nice, because this is a big packet and it's a lot of information to go through. So it was very nice to have that step-by-step guidance on how to read it and what to look for. So that was my report, and the superintendent, Dr. Walker.
Yeah, I just want to wish everybody, all of our staff, students, families, a wonderful summer. We have, as a few of you have already mentioned, there's a lot of culminating activities happening over the next week, so be sure to check your calendars. I think there'll be lots of fun things to attend, so thank you.
11.3, 11.3, suggested future agenda items? Nothing? Okay, we will now go into closed session at 8:25 p.m. to discuss labor negotiations and confidential student matters. Thank you. Have a good night.